Hello, everyone. There is now a report of yet another scandal having to do with Hungary, with some leaked calls between Hungary officials and Russia officials. Apparently, an audio has been leaked of a Hungarian official telling Moscow that he would try to amend the sanctions imposed by the European Union against Russia to favor Russia. I'm sure I'm not the only one who sees how this is a problem, and this is something that I have been pointing out for a long time. Now, this comes at an interesting time. Just today, the Trump administration had expressed their intention to reconsider U.S. NATO membership. And that goes back to all those times when I said, we have all these alliances. We have the UN, we have NATO, we have the European Union, and we have a process for each one of them to join. And it is a fairly elaborate process, particularly for NATO and EU. But there doesn't seem to be a process to impose consequences on any member of the alliance who is violating the terms of the alliance charter and is basically working to sabotage the alliance itself. So let's take a look at this. So we have the US, and I said that before, the rest of the world cannot afford to live from one US election to the other, hoping that we're going to get a decent president who will support the allies. And we also have countries like Hungary. Hungary is both a NATO member and an EU member. And for basically the duration of Viktor Orban's leadership, if you can call it that, it has been working with Russia, compromising the interests of both NATO and EU. So I'm saying, you know what, NATO? If things are like that, kick out the US and Hungary and take in Ukraine and somebody else. Oh, Canada. Let's do that. Because I think if you're going to treat the membership as a privilege, then it should be granted to members who prove themselves to be true allies. And right now, the US is not it, and Hungary sure as hell is not it. And case in point, Hungary continues to undermine European efforts to support Ukraine. So that continues happening. Now, Zelensky had asked US negotiators to pass on to Russia his suggestion for an Easter ceasefire, since this is a holiday important both to Russia and Ukraine. So far as we know, Russia had refused. Another thing I've said in the past is that more people should go and visit Ukraine. And Europe's top diplomat, Kaja Kallas, and several EU foreign ministers went to Bucha today. This is 4 years after the massacre carried out by Russia. And remember, there were two towns, Bucha and Irpin. And if you don't remember the details, feel free to look it up. And I'm glad they went. And again, I think more people should do that, because it appears that those who went to Ukraine, not necessarily to the sites of atrocities, but to Ukraine in general, because right now nowhere in Ukraine is safe, had an eye-opening experience. But again, I'm glad they went. I'm glad they honored the memory of those who were killed there. And I agree with Kaya Kallas when she said, this morning in Bucha, we were reminded of what is at stake. There is no starker example of Russia's brutality than what happened there. Russia had lost another airplane, Antonov 26, in Crimea, with 29 people on board. They are citing technical difficulties. I cannot confirm at this time what had caused the plane crash. Meanwhile, Russian attacks on Ukraine continue. The screenshot you're seeing here is actually from an app that helps Ukrainian people track where the strikes are headed. My dad has one like that. My stepmom has one like that. Pretty much everybody has one like that. So this is still going on, and as you can see, these strikes are very widely spread. And that's to my point that nowhere is safe. And this goes back again to Ukraine's proposal to please have a ceasefire over Easter. Right now, like I said, as far as we know, Russia had refused. I don't know if there's going to be any other contact, any other conversation between them and possibly the U.S. negotiators. This is where things stand today. The recent attacks basically follow the same pattern as we have seen up to this point. Hundreds of drones, most of which fortunately were intercepted. The strikes hit Kherson region, Sumy, Donetsk, Kharkiv, my native Zaporizhia, Poltava. So it's everywhere, and again, there are killed and wounded in several of those regions. More to come.